It's Friday. You know where your IT pros are? We don't. It's Patch and Switch. And now, two guys who couldn't make it as ski instructors, despite how rapid this show goes downhill. Here's Patch and Switch.
Oh, I love that. That was actually really good. Going downhill. I don't know if my legs can support skiing anymore. Like, I'm getting old.
You're gonna be like a giraffe?
I'd be like a giraffe trying to run with the legs like to the sides or something like that. Oh, craziness! Craziness! Yeah. It's Friday, man. Like, I was really concerned. It's been such a long time. The announcer guy, like, I think did the announcement twice. Did he do it twice?
I don't know.
I think he had a dry run by himself inside the sound room, and then they turned on the microphone, and he did it again.
I think the countdown timer wasn't working.
Oh, okay. It is binary, so it is kind of hard to cover that, I guess, sometimes. Yeah. And if you want your own binary countdown timer, I can share how we made that. But,
is it top secret?
It's top secret. You literally have to take screenshots every second for 10 minutes and change the picture of the ones and zeros to make it work. Or something like
that. Good morning, everybody. We got Kowski in the Vancouvers of USA, which is different than Vancouver, Canada.
No, it's smaller and southerner. And it's not as mountainous either, I don't think.
It's not as mountainous?
Not as mountainous.
However, a river runs through it.
It does.
Hello to Vizio MVP says, finally, you're back. Yes. The fairest of Brit says, good evening from West Yorkshire, UK.
She is trapped in a pudding.
In a Yorkshire
pudding? She's trapped in a pudding.
We, of course, have J-Shock. Aloha, says Ledwig. Ledwig, are you in Orlando next week? Why aren't you in Orlando next week? I'm in Orlando next week.
Now that he's like retired, he's like a wandering hillbilly.
A wandering hillbilly?
I was trying to come up with a name. I don't know what it could be, but
aren't the wanderers like gypsies?
So no, he is a wandering tiki hillbilly. Does that work?
Yes.
Okay.
True.
That works.
True. Chaos 13 says, I'm glad you kept the cold until I left. Not that it's nicer here. The snow just melted. I believe it was good to see Chaos I believe he's in Seattle.
Nice.
When we were last there. Richard Campbell says, greetings programs.
Hey.
Speaking of Richard Campbell, I know him.
He's migrated even further north, up in the Canadianas. Even further north now.
So the A has even more of an accent? Is that what it is?
He's coming to us next to the ocean out there, eh? Got a good view. So very nice.
We say hello to Jan, who says it's Patch and Switch and Switch and Patch. Aspen Forrester says, howdy, everyone. We've got TRP 8472 at his post. And Ledwig says he's on a cruise in a couple weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently TRP 8472 is near Leeds, which is different than the town of Weeds. I've discovered that on a map.
Nice.
Apparently Richard Campbell can't see anything at the moment. It is mighty misty.
Yes. Rather foggy. It's back to the fine 1st of December's. Have we said hello to everybody already?
I do believe that we had that. I believe that is everyone who has said hello in chat.
Yeah,
we do know that there are people who are watching the program.
Yeah, so if you're a lurker, you're welcome to lurk and watch. This
yes, of course. We love our lurkers.
Nothing. You are absolutely welcome to do that. If you want to interact, you're happy to go off and interact. It will have some fun and chat with you in the chat throughout. And also we'll make sure we say a howdy doody and a goodbye at the end of the show. I want to call it, I've got an old tweet that came up, and this is from tweet. This is for my Canadian friends for up in the Canadianas. Back in the day. This is the International Day of Canadian Podcasting. Or just
International Day of Canadian Podcasting?
Yes. It was something that was started back in the teens, actually early teens, maybe the late aughts. with a bunch of podcasters, mostly from the East Side, not the
Of
West
the
Side.
2000s, right?
Campbell.
We're not talking like...
Yeah, of
okay.
the 2000s.
Yeah.
And they basically decided that they would make a day, December the 1st, as being the day to recognize Canadian podcasts, or just podcasts in general, because it's a podcasting community. And someone from that podcasting group, because you know what? I started podcasting in 2005. That's crazy. Not quite as old as Mr. Campbell and the stuff that he's been doing, but 2005 is pretty early. Anyway, someone from the group popped up and they just brought up a tweet, someone talking about it again. And so technically, the Patch and Switch show is contributing to the National Day of Podcasting.
Oh, absolutely. The Patch and Switch show is 49.8% Canadian.
You got it. 49.8.
Yeah. Well, it used to be 50%, but then you got your U.S. citizenship. So
I got knocked down a couple of notches. And also our backup sound assistant intern, Mr. Pierre Roman, is on vacation in Mexico, and he tips us back over the 50% mark with his Canadianisms. But well, technically he is a Quebecer. So I don't know if he considers himself Canadian or Quebecer. So I gotta ask him.
Isn't there like a penalty percentage for that too? I don't know. I don't know how that works. I am curious. Mob says lurker for life, and then goes back to lurking, which is fantastic.
Nice, love it.
Amazing. Which is amazing.
Oh, and I do have to do a bit of housekeeping.
I didn't bring my vacuum. I'm sorry.
No, I know. Ed Lukowski. My apologies. Your patch is right here.
Oh,
and it is going to be mailed off to you when I'm allowed to go off and do some errands after the show.
Okay.
So I promised that I would mail him this because he asked and he DM'd me his address. And so I will do the dutiful find out where I can buy a stamp, put this into an envelope, and hand write a note and address an envelope to said watcher. So Kowski, you're good to go, my friend.
How did they find out about the patches? Because we haven't talked about it
on one of the shows. Don't you remember?
Did we talk about the patches on the show?
Yeah, that was like a random spending thing. I bought.
Oh, that's right. But we didn't talk about why we chose a patch.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about that now. If you want to start the first segment of the show, maybe.
We could do that. But first, we have to say hello to Kowski, the aforementioned Kowski. We also have to say hello to AZ Cloud Elf.
Yes.
And of course, the shadiest of pandas.
Yes.
All asking about the patch and switch patch.
You got it. So I completely surprised you as a equal team member on Patch and Switch about the fact that, hey, we're having this in-person event called Microsoft Ignite.
Oh,
and one of the things that we weren't allowed to talk about was the fact that they were bringing back the backpack, but it was a sustainable option that did not have any kind of markings on it that would make it so that it couldn't be returned back to the vendor. So therefore zero waste. I mean, we used to literally have thousands and thousands of backpacks from previous events in storage and possibly in landfills or possibly donated and then not used or whatever it happens to be. So they were going to be doing these super top secret patch iron-on patches for them. And I'm like, hey, let's make one for patch. Oh, sorry. Let's make one for get it the right way. Let's make one
professional
for
video podcasters here, ladies and gentlemen.
You got it. So I made up a bunch, and periodically I gave you a whole stack of them. I don't know if you have any left over.
I think I have 5 or 6 left over out of that.
I'd take like an inch or so of patches and put them down during Ignite inside the community sticker table swap, and they'd be gone.
Yep.
So
these are iron-on patches, or do I have to sew them on?
You can iron on the patch. And so earlier in one of the shows, I had taken an old shirt that I had that was not beautifully embroidered like this one is, done by another company that is unfortunately no longer taking orders anymore. I had ironed it on as a trial. Can I do this with a regular household iron without melting the glue all over the place or setting the house on fire? And I'm happy to report that that is possible, but you can also augment it. Why does it keeps on turning on me? There we go. Oh, this way. It keeps, You can actually sew these on as well if you like. They don't recommend them for hats because there's too much curvature on them and the glue would probably let go. And I think that actually is a little unsightly on the hat.
Yeah, a little. It's a little loud.
You could put it on the top or something like that.
There you go. There you go.
Maybe that would work. So anyway, on the show, I said, hey, if you're not going to Microsoft Ignite, you're welcome to DM us on either @Joey Snow, @RexerCDN, or @Patch and Switch on the Twitters, or find us on LinkedIn or wherever else you want to find us, and give us your address, and we will dutifully mail you one of these, if you want one. So,
yep, absolutely.
That's a long way of basically saying, yeah, that's why there's a patch.
And then when I run out of stock, I'm just going to be forwarding the DMs to you, going, "Hey, can you send this?" Because I did grab a stack before I left, but then I ran into people as I was walking out.
So what I think we need to do is I need to go off and actually buy a bunch of envelopes, and some loose leaf, or no, we should use graph paper. I'm going to buy a raft of graph paper, and we'll do a handwritten note. So you have to contribute to this as well.
You've seen my handwriting.
We'll do a handwritten note to our followers.
It looks like Klingon.
I know, eh? We'll do a handwritten note to our followers to give them a patch as a thank you for listening. It's even better than a subscription, but a subscription also works, or a sub works inside of Twitch,
of course,
and go from there. So that was the history on the patch. That was a longer story than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, that's all right. Hey, let's start the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you've ever listened or viewed the show before, we have segments of the show. It's actually organized.
So that was a long intro segment.
Is From the Trenches, the stuff that we've been doing in our day jobs. We also like to hear from you, which is why we have the Twitch chat running over at twitch.tv/patchandswitch. For those who are listening in on the replay, the recorded replay on one of your favorite podcasting engines.
Or you can also just go to patchandswitch.com, which
you can also go there. Yes. So the first From the Trenches. So I guess we can talk a little bit, because we were supposed to do a show live from Microsoft Ignite. However, our skills and talents were required elsewhere.
And on top of that, they started to dismantle the place around us.
Oh, but listen, we know Rich Campbell basically had a tertiary setup. Like he had a backup and a tertiary setup. Like it would have happened anyway.
I think he brings that everywhere. Like he brings it out at cocktail parties, I'm sure. And just
do you think he like goes to Costco and he's like buying meat to smoke on the smoker, and all of a sudden comes up with an idea and literally does like a .NET Rocks or Run As radio episode right at Costco?
He just, all of a sudden the gear comes out, microphones get sets up and lighting and everything else like that, and then also just starts.
And then you get the dulcet tones of Rich Campbell
that he then stops and does a ad right in the middle of it, and then picks back up the conversation again.
Yep, and then he checks out and goes and smokes a brisket. It's true. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had an opportunity to sit and meet with some attendees and have a debrief. So that was super cool. Unfortunately, we did miss the program, the live Patch and Switch program for Microsoft Ignite. But Microsoft Ignite was in Seattle. There were over 4,000 folks in the facility.
Yeah, the official numbers we can say is 4,700, because that's how many seats we had.
Oh, there you
inside
go.
the keynote room, or 4,792 to be exact.
But there you go. A lot of good content, a lot of feedback, good feedback coming in around said content, which is available for you to stream live if you just head on over to Microsoft Ignite and get yourself signed up there. A lot of the do you have a favorite session?
So what I'm starting to do right now, because the numbers are in, the evals are up, and everything else along those lines, is I'm actually going and tweeting out and threading out and linking out from LinkedIn my favorite sessions and direct linking to them. So yeah, I'm on 3 different networks, man. 3 different networks, and I'm sharing the ones that I really enjoyed and that I heard other people enjoy too, just to be able to highlight them. You can get them, as you mentioned, at the Ignite website, which is ignite.microsoft.com. And you can still register just for the purposes of having access to all that content. I'll give you a hint. It's also available on YouTube, but it's a lot harder to find potentially. So It's easier to use the interface for now while the interface is up. And even cooler, and I can share this with you, if you're logged in, you can actually ask the interactive chat, which is powered by Azure OpenAI, to say, give me a summary of breakout BRK203BH, please. And it will give you a summary of what that session is about, not from the description, but actually from analyzing the verbatim transcript and using generative AI to give you the summary. But unfortunately, it's not, you can't say, give me the summary of this breakout in a the form of a Shakespearean sonnet. It doesn't do that, unfortunately.
But it does that's disappointing. Well, how about a northern Canadian folk song?
Give me a fur trapper folk song for Satya's keynote with the Maya chip,
minus the fiddle.
So anyway, it's all there. It's cool stuff. So yeah, I've been tweeting them out. The first one I did was this super sneaky session. It was Windows Server vNext that was snuck in on the last Friday. It's now available on demand. The other one I tweeted out this week, because I did 2 so far, was the Windows Server and SQL Server Better Together on Azure story, which was streamed there. But how about yourself?
You know, one of my
yours
favorites
stand out?
A year in Octatempest. Which is our friends from Microsoft Incident Response, which talk about Octatempest, which is also known as Spider, and a bunch of other names in the world of the hacksaws. Some really cool, interesting insights about them and about that threat actor. That was really cool. I'm a huge fan of the presenters as well. Had a chance to work with them quite closely over the course of the event.
Do you have to leave your
response people? They're
yeah. Do you have to leave your devices inside a Faraday cage when you walk in the room when you're going off to talk to them?
Listen, I put my devices in Faraday cages because even when I'm on Teams calls with my own team. let's just be real. Let's be real. Dave from Crush Network says, great to see Joey in his new Vegas office. Haven't been on the show for a month. So much travel. Conference season busy. He also said it was great to see us both at MS Ignite, and I look stressed. So there's a story here, Dave. So during the live broadcast, if you recall, we've done the live broadcast a few times, and they have we call it interstitial programming.
Yes.
And as part of interstitial programming, you may do some interviews with various people. This year, the amazing Miss Sarah Young was doing a lot of that interstitial stuff, and she had a segment with you in which we were talking about kind of the event format, and then you asked questions or answered questions around, content, some of the work that we were doing. Well, the reason I was stressed when Dave grabbed me is that you were about ready to do this interstitial programming thing. And I had to be your handler.
Yes, I know. I have
because normally
rules
during these productions, to make sure that Rick is actually standing in the spot and paying attention, there's like producers that help. Well, we didn't have producers, and so I had to do the normal thing, like you would see with a lot of, kind of the executive guests, where I had to take all of your lanyards and put them around my neck, and then make sure that you had particularly because I wanted the talking points about some of the security content specific. So I had to make sure you had those. So Dave, I apologize, because he's like, hey, talking, and we did a quick selfie, and then I had to run off because you had to do the live broadcast thing.
Yeah.
And that was actually, I'm like, this is what it's come down to. I used to co-host. I used to sit on stage. Like I used to do the countdown show. I did all this stuff, and now I'm his freaking handler.
Yeah. And during that segment, Sarah and I decided that we need to have a new spin-off podcast called Patch and Sheebs.
No. This was no spin-off. I believe the conversation before the cameras went live we're replacing him. And what the camera shot is going to be for the announcement is the camera will then pan to the side where you had the staircase that ran the entire length from the 6th floor all the way down to the bottom floor. And here's Joey being thrown down the stairs by a sheep.
By a sheep.
Yes.
Could work.
So that Patch and Sheebs, I've been replaced. I've been swapped. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
Dave says Joey Sell would be playing the role of Rick's handler, should have been televised. I think the quote was, Rick is talking about security. I need to make sure he didn't screw this up. I don't
totally be an awesome reality show. It'd be an awesome reality show, I think. People to go up and do the behind the scenes one like that. We should work that in and make a budget request for the next episodes.
Do a behind the scenes of Patch and Sheebs. At any rate, yes. So it was good to see everyone. Please go watch sessions. We worked really hard. The teams, multiple people worked really hard to ensure a more technical content. I mean, listen, you're going to have your 200 level marketing architecture type sessions. But then you've got folks like Jeff Woolsey up there.
Yeah.
You've got, dude, Rasinovich. I'm sorry, dude. I love his session. Did you understand half the words he was saying? I was literally looking up words when I was watching his session when we were sitting in that room.
Yeah, so
his closing, I don't know what this means.
Yeah, his closing keynote, the lock note on Friday, was definitely a little bit mind-blowing. I think he also stunned a lot of the audience. There wasn't as much audience participation as he was expecting, and he called it out a couple of times to try to get the people engaged. I think he just lost them for some of the depth that he had. But yeah, no, I completely agree.
But I learned a ton. I'm having to constantly go, oh, okay. Oh, I understand what this is. So we had some great talks. There's some great talks. There's some great stuff in security, great stuff in infrastructure, some cool modern work sessions, and then all the AI, because it was very heavy on Copilot, but the AI sessions very, very, very well received, like to the point where we're talking perfect speaker scores, perfect session scores.
Yeah.
So there's some great content out there for folks to watch. So
and
it was so cool.
I'll just tack onto that one there with the concept of the scores and stuff like that. Is we read all the comments, we read all the verbatims and the evals, and we take the information from there and make the next one even better each time. And this was a iterative approach that we've taken since the last Ignite last year, which was challenging.
Yep.
Made it better for build, learned from build, made it better for Ignite, wash, rinse, repeat, and continue. So
keep changing. And listen, we've heard everyone. We know you want a larger venue. You want a longer conference. We've heard that. We've got feedback loud and clear.
Yeah. So I've been basically doing data analysis this last week and change. Well, let's be real. I took the week after Ignite off. It was Thanksgiving, and I was literally spent. We were actually commiserating that we're so out of shape from doing events. We need to do a couch to Microsoft Ignite.
100%. 100%. It starts now with standing.
Yeah, totally. So
speaking of, I went from Microsoft Ignite. I flew back to Las Vegas. I landed in Vegas at 9 p.m. Got home about 10:30. Only a little bit of a delay because F1 was doing qualifying. So I landed right as they were about to start qualifying. So a little tricky to get around because the airport's literally right next to the track. At any rate, got home and then got up the next morning at 6:45 a.m., got in the car and drove to LA.
Wow.
And proceeded to spend 3 days at Disneyland.
Oh, nice. So your step count didn't go
tracking said I set new records. So I averaged 18 hours a day of standing over the course of a week and a half. and I set a new steps record for the month. So that was wild and it was after, I think, because we had a big day on day 0, right? We were doing a lot of stuff there. I believe it was after the first full day. I look at you and I'm like, how did we do 5 days of this? I'm so entirely out of shape. I don't know how to do this. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, we may start a couch to Microsoft Ignite where you begin standing 3 minutes at a time, and then you work your way up to where you can stand a full 12 hours a day and then do 275,000 steps.
Yeah. So. I know the step counts for sure. What else you been doing, man? I know what I've been doing. You've been doing it as well. Internally at Microsoft, this is the end of the time frame for when we have to have our internal performance reviews. But they're internally, they're called Connects, where basically it's just you're checking in, talk about the awesome stuff that you've done, talk about the impact you've had, what you plan on doing for the next 6 months. And so I finished off all of those. Yours was the official last one I had to do. Won't say anything about the fact that you turned it in literally with less than 24 hours to go. And then
it was turned in.
No, it was turned in. It was turned in. So then you kind of adjusted my schedule. I had to cancel our one-on-one so I could finish reading yours and responding. And then we met up after the one-on-one time.
You had a solid 10 hours from the time I submitted it.
Yeah, but 8 of those include sleeping, dude.
Oh, whatever. Okay, so anyway, sleep. Sure,
they're all done, and I just want to say it's actually really cool to be able to see what everyone's been doing, what they plan on doing for the next 6 months, and got those all done. I feel a little sigh of relief, so I'm going to be taking some personal time this afternoon to mail some of the patches out today, in the first segment, what I was talking about, and other things like that too.
It's definitely cool to sit back and reflect because I have a little kind of virtual notebook. I will have a tab in OneDrive. Let's just be clear, and it's in my personal side because at any rate, where I just dump stuff like and so it's really good to go back and reflect. And it's like, wow, we did a lot of stuff. And to get that out and to see all the cool stuff that the team is doing and the team will be doing, I'm all fired up. Not so fired up to not be like ready to take a little bit of a Christmas break, which we have forthcoming. So we should probably let all of the viewers and listeners know that this is the second to last program of this calendar year.
Correct.
We will be having a show in a fortnight's time, which is on December the 15th. It'll be the annual Patch and Switch Christmas Spectacular, which really the only difference is that we wear ugly Christmas sweaters and put booze in our coffee.
Wow.
Okay, the ugly Christmas sweaters is the difference. But
okay, the Christmas sweaters at least. I missed out on the official ugly Windows sweater this year.
I did too. I didn't get it.
Find that great. It was.
You know what? It was the Windows XP background. I get it.
Totally
it wasn't as good as like the Minesweeper one or some of the others. So yeah, we're gonna have a chance to do some holiday stuff. But I wanted to make sure everybody is aware that after the 15th, we'll be taking a little bit of a holiday hiatus, our annual holiday hiatus, and we'll be back in mid-January. I'm doing this really weird thing where I'm gone next week, but then I'm back for a week, and then I'm gone again, and then I'm back, and then I'm gone. So it's okay.
You should just set your oof and be gone for like 2 months.
I can't do that. There's work that has to get done. There's work that has to get done. But listen, I'm ready. I'm ready for a little bit of I love the holidays. I'm ready to sit and there's a new season of Fortnite kicking off in 2 days' time.
Oh yeah.
There's obviously we're right smack in the middle of endgame season of Diablo, so my character is close to level 100 finally. Because I did take like a 3-week break where I wasn't playing Diablo, so we'll be pushing to build the my ultimate Sorc character and do that, and then of course there will be a new season of Diablo firing up in the new year. So, and then of course there is every freaking Christmas movie. I think I've only watched one, and it was a new one on Netflix, and I wasn't that impressed with.
Which one?
I don't remember the name of it. Like
I saw one that was new on Netflix. It was called Genie.
Oh, I didn't see this. This was like A Perfect Christmas or The Perfect Christmas or something like this. I wasn't impressed, but
Genie was a little crazy.
But I'm ready. I'm ready for Elf. I'm ready for Christmas Vacation.
We watched Elf as our kickoff last week.
Yeah.
On point.
So they're doing like how they do a 24 hours of a Christmas story on Christmas Eve. So they're doing 24 hours of Elf, and they're doing 24 hours of Christmas Vacation.
Oh, okay.
Which are some of the most fantastic movies. And then, of course, you've got to watch Miracle on 34th Street. You've got to watch
Christmas Story.
Christmas Story. You've got to watch The Grinch.
Yep.
I'm a fan of all the Santa Claus movies, and there's, I guess, a net new one coming out.
I think so, yeah.
Here shortly. And not to mention, today's December 1st, which means it's officially the start of Whamageddon.
What?
Whamageddon.
Whamageddon?
Have you not heard this?
I don't know what
this is to see if you can get from December 1st through Christmas Eve without hearing the Wham version of Last Christmas. Now, remixes and other versions are fine, but the original Wham version.
Wow.
So I was here because I've got my device up there, my little music playing device, and I've had it on the holiday music since I got back from Disneyland because that was kind of my official start. So it was great. But drove down, I was listening to my new wave, first wave stuff that I always listen to, and then we went a full day in the park, and the park's all done up for Christmas and everything. But we didn't see that. The next day is when we saw the parade, and then we saw the fireworks show.
Mm-hmm.
And when we left the park after the fireworks show, I went to the satellite radio and I clicked it on Holly, and I said, "Now the Christmas season can start." I've pretty much only been listening to Christmas music since. But yeah, I was listening yesterday and I heard it, and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm done in already." And then I went, "Nope, wait, not December 1st.
Hasn't officially started.
I'm good. It hasn't started. So Whamageddon has officially started. Ferris Brett says I've already been got for Whamageddon. No, it doesn't count if you've heard it in November.
It's only December onwards. Apparently, only December onwards. There's a clarification in the rules. They sent it to the North Pole for the reviewers, and they said it's fine. The song did not pass the line, therefore it does not count.
That is correct. I am curious. Mauve, by the way, did not make it to Microsoft Ignite. Why? Because they went to F1.
Yeah.
I need details on that. Anyway, Anyway, he says he made it. They say they made it all the way last year. Aspen Forrester, not sure if it's a good or bad omen. Heard the song on Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all good. It's all good.
I'm concerned that I'm going to hear it when I fly to New York.
Oh, airports are dodgy. Yeah,
airports and JetBlue. I am no longer flying the Alaskas.
Just wear noise canceling headphones in the airport, and that can help block it. Therefore, you get some extended time.
Yeah, or you listen to your own music, right?
Yeah.
So this is the risk, because I love several Christmas channels on Sirius XM. I believe I might have to just go to Holiday Traditions, because I don't think that there's a risk of hearing it when I'm listening to Holiday Traditions. Yeah. But man, I was listening to Jolly yesterday, and I heard it, and I'm like, oh, come on, because and it counts the minute you recognize it. And here's the problem with me: I recognize most songs in like the first 3 bars.
Yeah, I was about to say, very quick in on the 4 counts.
So it's like,
why would that be that way, Joey?
I have no idea.
Don't know.
No idea whatsoever. So at any rate, yeah. So are you playing Whamageddon then? Are you officially in?
I'll try. Sure.
So as soon as you get got on Whamageddon, you got to put it on the social medias that you made it X far.
I made X number of days.
Yes, exactly.
Dutifully noted.
Dave says I made a rookie mistake by leaving after the fireworks show. Dave, do you think I leave the park unless I'm like forced out by security? Like,
the mouse comes and shoves them out the gate.
Yeah, they're like, excuse me, sir, it's 2 a.m. You're the only one left here. We've already cleaned the streets. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. My bad. As I'm chewing on a corn dog. At any rate, what were you talking about?
Supposedly work stuff, but we kind of big tangent.
Holiday break. At any rate, we're coming up on the holiday break. Next segment of the show, considering that it's 34 minutes into the program.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be beer money, the support that we do for our friends, our families, friends, sisters, uncles, cousins. I have a beer money support story.
I'll let you go first.
For myself.
Sure. For yourself.
Have you noticed that I have not max headroomed this entire program?
I now that you're talking about it, I have not noticed. So therefore,
I am not connected through my cellular device. I am connected through my Cox internet connection.
how's it working? Because there was some kind of glitch problem going on, and you had 2 different support tickets that had already been escalated and dismissed.
And they're still open, and I'm still escalating them, but I fixed it myself.
What'd you do? Did you
VPN.
simply plug into the freaking network and it works as opposed to wireless?
Surfshark.
A VPN
not sponsored.
Seriously? A VPN fixed the routing. So it really was a routing problem.
I don't know if it's routing. It's something. But and here's the thing. I'm not even using the client. No. I'm using the browser plugin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So VPN. I VPN'd.
So streamers everywhere, if you're having a problem trying to get to your web-based platform to be able to then have that go and redirect out to your RTN endpoint, use a VPN. Wow.
So the show has officially jumped the shark.
Nice.
Hey, a big hello to our good friend Mr. C Sharpfret saying, "Did I miss it? Did the thing happen?"
Nice.
No.
We have not been whamagetified yet.
Exactly.
Well, no, seriously though, but congratulations. Now you've called it out. It's hilarious that a simple $2.99 VPN solution that's not even installed actually fixes your routing problems. That's
so
hilarious.
I'm good for 2 years.
At least for 2 years.
And then when the introductory offer expires, I'm gonna have to find something else.
And you're gonna have to go off and do something else.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm feeling, you know, that's awesome because I didn't want to have to change my phone plan because it definitely would have cost more than like $58 for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got some beer money support on my side, which is a device. This is an old iPhone 13 that has been factory reset that I'll be sending to my 84-year-old father in the Ontarios, because my previous phone, which was a 11, I think, or maybe a 12, probably an 11, has gotten to the point where the battery is like less than a third of the day for what lasts right now. And I'm like, well, I've got one here I can just send down. So I haven't decided yet if I should preload his stuff onto the phone or send it absolutely blank to him to do. Now, I will qualify. He's an electrical engineer. He used to be the head of computer science department at University of New Brunswick. He is absolutely an IT mentor and God. One of the inspirations for why I got into the business. So he knows his stuff. But even he admits that sometimes it gets a little bit confusing and he likes to have someone to talk through stuff. So I don't know. Do I pre-configure and send, or do I send as is and then FaceTime them? Or
I'm thinking option B.
And walk
I'm thinking option B. Always be learning, man. Option B, get it there and then educate, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Everybody's like slamming you saying that iPhone 13 is not old.
And I agree, very much agree. As I have my only reason why I bought the 15 recently is because my 13 is obviously the older generation. It was still worth money to trade in, and I really want a USB-C connection on the bottom. So
yeah, so that's why I
driving factor. I went for the 15 has the USB-C in the bottom. And obviously, like you, waited until they worked out the initial software bugs to make things happier. And a new thing for me, kind of on random spending, but also beer money. I don't know if you can see this or not, but look at this.
What's that?
It's an actual protector for the cameras.
Yeah, so it's like
a flat freaking square. It's like it just goes over top of the cameras because hopefully my dad doesn't take a lot of pictures because these ones didn't last as well because you know me, I drop stuff.
You break stuff, yes.
And so
it goes flying off your motorcycle at 35 miles an hour.
That was an earlier one. And on my way to Canada at 110 kilometers an hour, it dropped and survived. You have to go back to one of our previous episodes to hear that story. But I decided to opt for let's try this out. And so far, that add-on actually seems to work well. Doesn't degrade the quality of the pictures.
Well, so I'll tell you, personal story. My wife actually had one on her brand new phone, and she dropped it, and it landed on a rock right on the camera, and it shattered. And if it weren't for the protector, that would have been toast. So I'm actually considering putting one on mine. I've got one in a box over here.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm also heading over to the Apple store today because the oldest, who I'm going to visit in Orlando next week, as she's doing her internship for the Mouse in Orlando, we're going to pick up a new phone for her. So
okay,
yeah. So
very cool. So
she's going from the iPhone 11, to the iPhone 15, the iPhone 11, and she's like, I have to charge it twice when I'm at work, and I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and swap that out.
So which 15 did you get her? The Pro or the Pro
so
Max?
She wants the 15 Plus.
Oh, so she wants the colors.
Well, the main thing is there's no need to go to a Pro or Pro Max for her.
It's the connector, dude, for speed.
But she's not shooting videos.
Yeah, okay.
There's no speed improvement on the USB-C. It's just the connector.
No, there is a speed improvement.
If you go to the Pro Max, there's definitely
on the Pro level. There absolutely is.
Yeah. Don't make me break out my specs.
That's right.
I will check all those specs because that was one of the biggest complaints. Was they put a USB-C on there, but it was actually slower than the Lightning.
No, on the Pro series. That's why we bought the Pro.
Yeah,
that's why we bought the Pro. Yep.
Let's do a teardown.
Anyway. Our good friend the Guar said he had to return his kid's iPhone this week, had opted for the 2-year replacement.
Yeah.
MagSafe. What's your thought on MagSafe?
I love it, man. I mean, I've got the MagSafe built in. I use it. I put an orange thing on there. This is the motorcycle quad lock. So on a motorcycle, it goes in and then turns and locks. But when I just go off and put it in my car, I just throw it up on the MagSafe. And I think I showed this with my random spend the other day. Maybe not, but this is a camera attachment that goes on the back of the phone to be able to give you a grip to be able to take photos. Or if you're an Instagrammer or a TikToker, you can go this way and film and hang on. And
hey, everybody.
It has a Bluetooth button control up here too. So I'm a fan of the MagSafes.
Yeah.
And the best part for the MagSafes is some stands that you can get that when you're in a hotel or at your house here, you can just simply throw the phone up on top of the MagSafe and it charges. So I'm a fan of the MagSafes.
Yeah, I am as well. I'm as well, particularly because I can't tell you how many times on the old, I believe it's called key charging, the normal wireless charging key.
The QI.
Anyway, that I'd set it down on there and I didn't get it quite in the right spot. And I'd get up the next day and I'd be like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I missed it.
I don't have any battery charges.
Yeah. And for when I travel as well, I have a battery that has a stand that is a wireless.
That's fancy.
Very cool.
You've got fancy things.
We love gadgets. This is random spending.
It's a gadget. Well, I mean, that's the next segment of the show, which I mean, we can talk about beer talk, which we can get to.
But then Ledwig's going to leave again.
I know. We liked having Scott around. So so random spending. So obviously getting a new phone for the kid. It's Christmas, so there's not a lot of random spending happening here other than for Christmas, right? A lot of Christmas gifts. I'm trying to think, we did random spend. That's not a Christmas gift. My wife has been using a Surface Book or a Surface laptop. Sorry, a Surface laptop for 5 years, 6 years. And it's just gotten to the point where it's time for an upgrade. Mm-hmm. And so I pulled the trigger and I actually did a ton of research, as you always do, because you never buy just a new PC, and managed to score a heck of a deal on a Lenovo X1 Yoga.
Ooh, very nice.
And I was able to go with the ThinkPad X1 version over the consumer version for less than $100 more.
Oh wow.
Ended up getting the, next day we come to your house and fix anything warranty on it. Got the WXUGA screen instead of a simple IPS screen. Instead of it having just a random pen, because they're convertibles that hangs out, like my daughter's, like it doesn't have a spot. The cool thing about these, this is mine from work. Notice the asset tag, but like it's got a spot right there for the pen, which is phenomenal. Love that. So
nice.
Yeah. So we random spent on that laptop. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with how that's coming. Then of course got her the USB-C dock, or actually I believe it's Thunderbolt, because I believe that's what Lenovo sends, is the Thunderbolt dock. So super excited. I can't wait to set that thing up. And then I also sorry, go ahead.
I was saying Thunderbolt docks are the way to go.
They are absolutely the way to go. Run multiple displays, run at a high speed. I also did some beer money for Chunga.
Oh yeah,
my good friend Jimmy Chunga. He got a new laptop, and it's the one. I think it's the one. Is it Mr. Beast that sells it, or maybe it's one of the other tech podcasts? It's one that basically has all the swappable ports. So like you get it, and then like, oh, I don't want an HDMI port today, I want a USB-C port today, and you can swap them out. Got that all set up. So I have my my handy dandy red USB stick.
Nice.
Which is red deliberately. This is the install.
That's the OS install.
This is the OS install. And I think the coolest part, there was only 2 updates after the latest build that I downloaded. 2 updates.
Nice.
So I'll fire it up. Anyway,
very nice.
Linus Tech Tips. That's right. Foundation laptop. Thank you, C Sharp Fritz. I appreciate that. It was one of these tech people.
They kind of know what they're talking about. So
they do.
They're good.
They do.
I still, again, talking about the Thunderbolt docking station. Again, the Surface devices have now switched over to using Thunderbolt as opposed to the proprietary connector. So therefore, the proprietary connector is not as fast as what the Thunderbolt 4 can offer. I bought a Thunderbolt dock for my wife downstairs, and she's got like 3 different laptops she cycles through because she's a consultant for one company. She's working for a different company as a consultant through that first company, and then the personal laptop. So it's just one connector to be able to make everything all work based on what she's working on. So that's been awesome. I still haven't finished getting my Thunderbolt working with that machine back there correctly.
Still.
So I bought a $300 cable to be able to make it work. And it's only working for video. And it's just, that's my goal for between now and the next show, or even the show afterwards, potentially, is to get it properly working across the board for being able to work with Thunderbolt. So I'll get there one of these days. I'm using the Linus Tech Tips recommended CalDigit versions.
Reference cable that doesn't work.
No, that's the Corning. It's a Corning. The cable works great. The cable is amazing. It's a 30-foot optical Thunderbolt 4 cable from Corning. Again, recommended by Linus back in the day. It's purely a user error and probably driver error.
Do we have a PEBCAC issue? Is that what we're dealing with?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm excited. I love setting up a new laptop.
You still haven't talked about the biggest random spend that you were so proud about when we were face to face during Microsoft Ignite.
What's that?
The digital Christmas lights and the app.
My gemstones.
Yeah, I mean,
so I did talk about
the fact that you have them on your house on one of the previous shows, but you now are actually home and have the app installed.
Oh yes. So listen.
Is it
permanently installed Christmas lights? Let me tell you. So when I moved here, I had the best deal in the world. I found out when I was in Seattle, because the guy who put the lights on my house on Seattle also did half the neighborhood because we recommended him. So he gave me the best deal ever. When I moved to Vegas and I found out how much it was going to cost to get Christmas lights put up on this 2-story home here, and because it's, we use the tile roofing and so on and so forth. And you got ceramic tiles you got to be careful with. I made the decision, and I did a ton of research on permanently installed Christmas lights, and I ended up going with gemstone. And the reason I went is that not only do you get the RGB, which of course, by the way, just having those Christmas lights on outside RGB, I get another 3 frames per second when I game on my computer. I'm not sure if you know that, but yeah, it's totally a thing.
You have it hooked into your Armor Crate software?
No, I don't know how it works.
IQ
it's like wireless. But I get at least another 3 frames per second, because not only do I have RGB on my keyboard and my mouse, but I also have it on the house. So, but also the gemstones also have white, and it's not the typical like super cold white. It's actually a warm white.
Okay.
Which 2700K, I believe, is the official thing. So they actually have a setting or multiple settings. And this is what I love about it, is that when it's not a holiday or I'm not celebrating something or another with different light colors, right, it looks like it's architectural lighting. And so you can't tell that it's just because, I've seen it. My neighbor down the street has them, and he just puts it on the white normally, but it's that super cold, like the icicle white. And it looks like, well, he's got permanently installed holiday lighting and he's just using it this way. The way that this works is each individual light is controllable. So when I open up my app, I can actually go to each individual bulb. And yes, I actually do have a Visio file with where each light is, and then I created zones. I know I was out there. I had my
what I'm waiting for is the automation of when the Kraken score a goal, that the house flashes red like the goal light, and then
what the automation is, because I watch every game. It's me doing. It's great. They're scoring more goals. They just can't seem to win. But at any rate, ended up with the gemstones. I love them. I can't wait. I mean, the holidays, we've got some really cool motion stuff. I never thought I would use the motion lighting. We're using the motion lighting. It's fun.
Please tell me you got the tacky just chink chink moves the colors along.
So what it kind of does is it almost looks like Pac-Man, but it goes from like red and white and then red and green.
You can adjust the speeds.
Oh yeah. And it was actually too quick. I'm using one of their presets and I didn't like how fast it was, so I slowed it down. And I did reduce the dim. I dimmed them a little bit. They are very bright, and so I actually have a timer that dims them a little bit lower, so that my neighbor across the street doesn't.
Do you set them to turn off at like 2 a.m.?
Around midnight ish.
Oh yeah,
ish.
Is there an HOA rule that all Christmas lights must be turned off by a certain time?
No. You just need to have permission to put them on.
It's Vegas. Lights are on all the time.
Yes, exactly.
All the time.
So I'm super excited to and kudos to Gemstone themselves did the install. Right. You can't even see them unless they're on. So or you're right up there looking for them. So nice. I'm super happy. Dave, no, I cannot control the lights from my XDJ from my Pioneer DJ setup, but and apparently, according to Apsablog and Lootly, Gemstones do integrate with Home Assistant. Nice. Speaking of that, you may want to tune in to a special episode of our good friend Rich Campbell's podcast. Because apparently we're popular on the show when we show up and we do the annual Holiday Geek IT gift giving guide, which we have forthcoming. And we may or may not talk about Home Assistant a little bit in that show. Maybe.
I didn't know we had authorization to talk about the show yet.
I just said that we're doing it.
Nice. I love it.
I didn't say when.
No, true.
We have the official date. Hey,
okay.
Rich, you put it in chat. Does that mean I can talk about it?
Yeah, it's in chat.
So that episode will be published on December the 13th.
Nice.
So you know what we should do? We should, in celebration of that show being published on December the 13th, when we do our show on December the 15th, our Christmas episode, we should invite Rich Campbell to this program.
We could. Why don't we listen to that episode and do a reaction video?
No, we're not going to react to that. No.
Isn't that what all the young kids do these days? They do.
No, I'm not doing
streams. Watching other streams.
Listen, I already saw your attempt at an unboxing video. Nobody needs to see this. Nobody needs to see this.
Oh, hey Joey, I can block him from that. first.
Oh, nice. Nice.
December 13th on my birthday. Nice, says Ledwig. Oh,
nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Hello, Go Gadget 360, who's trying to sneak into the back quietly because they showed up 54 minutes into the program. But that's okay because you can go back and listen at any time.
I know it. Hey, look, Tech Cable Guy even came in and said that he was very impressed with Microsoft Ignite. He's late to the show.
Oh.
So he was saying that it was nice to be able to see it. He liked the sessions on day 3, which was a in-person only experience. That's kind of cool as well. And it was cool. Apparently the vendors waited a couple of weeks before jumping on some of those contacts to be able to say hello and following up with stuff. Thank you very much for the feedback. Appreciate it.
Grow Man says, good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon. Rich Campbell says he will block out December the 15th. So if we could get our producers, all 32 of them,
this is the Ignite quality that we have.
Yeah, that we'll need to get Rich Campbell on the program.
I just need to know which of Rich's addresses to send it to.
Yeah, I know it. Go ahead. Put your personal email address into the chat.
Exactly. Yeah, sure. Because nobody's going to DDoS you at all. No,
you got it.
Never. So looking forward to that. So yeah, and I'm looking the Christmas. It's a favorite. It's a favorite.
Yeah, it's fun.
I spend an entire year collecting items for that one show. So I always want to have the. Hang on,
the good ones.
Sorry.
It's what are you doing?
There was a piece of dust right there on my mirror. Sorry, had to be cleaned. It was bothering me.
Nice. We are getting close to the final segment of the show, final time of the show. This is where we go off, and you have all been adding words to determine what the next show is going to be called. Reminder: this is the final show of the year that's coming up. You can go to patchandswitch.showbot.tv and vote. So if you put in your words, please go there and vote and let us know. Otherwise, Joey just randomly picks the words and I have no control over it. So I don't have any control of Joey anyway.
Look at the votes.
So,
looking at patchandswitch.showbot.tv, I see that we've got the words patched, we've got brisket, we've got prepared, handler, ignited, wham, ramgeddon, jump shark, lightning seed, Disney Virgin. Wow. None of this is holiday themed.
Yeah, I know, well, I think we got to vote on handler just because I need to have
I think we're gonna do lightning. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do jump shark, lightning sea, handler.
Got it.
All right, we got him.
Nice.
Jump Shark Lightning Sea Handler, which would be the title of the program on December the 15th, which is the final program of this calendar year, but not the fiscal year, because our fiscal year
for it,
Yeah, our fiscal year starts on March 22.
July 1st.
Because why not?
Yeah.
March 22nd. Okay, anyway. Let's see. Now I've got to switch back. I've got to switch back to chat. What's happening in chat? Growing Man says any 2024 MS Ignite updates? No, but stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
As soon as we know, we will tell you.
Yeah.
Regardless if we're allowed to or not.
You know what we can say? There will be an event in the fall.
Yes, sir.
That's all I can say.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about brisket just as a closing. The guar brings it up. Talking about the brisket.
Guar.
I just want to do a shout out and a.
You can't just say the guar.
The guar. I want to say a thank you to Mr. Rich Campbell for introducing me to the meter probes, even though they have a new version out, which I don't own yet, which now I need to go off and buy. Because for my Thanksgiving, I took a 6 rib roast and cooked it on my green egg using said meter probes, and it was awesome. Absolutely perfect.
He says, brisket, that reminds me, since it's going to be plus 4 degrees Celsius this weekend and no snow, I should smoke a brisket.
Yep.
DJ Eddie comes in and says, cold outside equals smoked brisket, hot outside equals smoked brisket, raining, smoked brisket.
Yeah,
100% prefer. I agree. All right, folks. That's it. We've come to the end of another exciting episode of the program. What a say special thank you. Oh, the band is playing. I just want to make sure.
I know it's hard, eh?
Thanks to everybody for showing up. Go Gadget 360. Also, our good friend C Sharp Fritz, who you should follow on Twitch and watch his live stream coding streams. He's like a legend. We love Fritzy. Also, our good friend Rich Campbell of the aforementioned .NET Rocks and Run As Radio. He's got the dulcet tones.
I know.
Rich Campbell's got the best.
Also, Windows Weekly now.
Yes, that's true. Also, Kowski. We've also seen the Guar. Dave from Crush Networks. Vizio MVP, as always. The show would not be here if he wasn't here. Our good friend Ludwig and T Cable Guy.
Who's the new one?
Who's the new one?
That was going to lurk, and they went to F1.
Well, I mean, they're not new. It's I Am Curious Mauve.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just lurk. They're lurkers.
Okay.
They're not new. They just lurk.
Got it.
They just lurk. Of course, Aspen Forrester, Absablog and Lootly, I believe we have also seen. Another random IT guy who's like hiding out in the background.
Got it.
Ferris to Brits, of course. Groyman, if I have Jan, Chaos, 13, Shadiest of Pandas, and everybody else. We're back in a fortnight. Back in a fortnight's time. Until then, have a weekend, everybody.
So are we spending my year-end bonus on all these people coming next time?
The puppies are sleeping. Quiet.
I'm sorry.
Shh.